Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. I have with me once again Andreas Fink. He's the CEO of Cajutel. Cajutel are a project that ICO'd in late 2017. And what they've been doing is building a solar-powered Wi-Fi, high-speed Wi-Fi system in Western Africa. And we're going to find out how the progress of that is going. Now, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, join my Telegram group. And if you're watching this on YouTube, come over to BitTube because I post my videos on BitTube first. Buy over 50 cryptocurrencies with no fees whatsoever using Crypto.com. Get a £50 bonus by using my link and signing up on the website. Hey, Andreas, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm just in Africa now and with all the challenges here.
Yes, and one of the challenges we're dealing with is the Wi-Fi keeps freezing, but you're going to sort that out very soon.
Yeah, well, that's the plan here. The internet connection, even in this big city, Conakry, is going in and out all the time, and sometimes it's fast and sometimes it's very slow.
Right. And Conakry is in Bissau, and we're building something in Sierra Leone, and you're normally in Switzerland, and the coronavirus and the lockdown is everywhere. So do you want to tell us about just a little bit about that, about coming over from Switzerland and what it was like and traveling in Africa?
Yeah, I mean, first of all is you have to get a ticket. And when I usually fly here, I go over Brussels with Brussels Airlines, and because they have a good connection from my place. But they don't fly until the 1st of September. So I had to change. I had to go with Air France, and normally you can fly over Paris from my home with one stop, but now I had to go over Amsterdam first, and getting a flight was already difficult enough. And then before you fly, you have to get the COVID test done. That was easily once you find the places where you can do them. And then the state of Guinea has somehow stopped issuing visas because they had some internal dispute between which department is now in charge. So they just stopped everyone, which means like 10 days before I went, I just ordered my visa online, and usually you get it like in 24 or 48 hours. And I was just not getting it. And it was like a nightmare to get it. So I was going to the embassy, and they couldn't do anything in themselves neither, because it's like the state who has to arrange things and whatever. Basically, the morning before I was flying, the evening before, at like 9 o'clock, I had like my visa and my passport ready. Wow. Not before. Wow. So it was like quite a challenge to get there. So now I'm actually in Conakry, which of Guinea, which is not Bissau, as you said before. Bissau is the capital of Guinea-Bissau. And Guinea is the biggest city of the three, in the middle, and has a lot of surface.
All right, Andreas, sorry, you've frozen.
No, you have frozen.
No, you've frozen. I'm moving.
Yeah, you too. Now you've got moving.
So, do you want to try it without your video? What was it? What was the flight like from Paris? Was it Paris straight to Conakry, or and what were the restrictions for the flight?
The original plan was to fly to Conakry, meet the regulatory here to finalize our license here, and then go on land to Freetown, because that's like 130 kilometers away, or 180 maybe, on land, because it's very difficult to get to Freetown right now. There's no direct flights from Europe somehow, but they started to resume, but it is kind of tricky to get to Freetown even. So the plan was to go on land, but that plan has been canceled because they closed the borders.
Right.
So I have to fly to Togo, and from Togo I'm going to be in the plane for a day just to go over 130 kilometers line of sight.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Although I hear Togo's really nice.
I've never been there, actually. And I'm only going to see the airport.
Okay. Okay. And how is it in terms of the coronavirus in Guinea? Is it locked down?
Well, they have not had many cases,
Mm.
but the cases they had were very deadly because they probably cannot cure the people that well compared to Europe. But they had like 50 death or so. For a country with like 12 million people, that's not that much.
No.
If you go outside, you always have to wear a mask, and you know, they have hand washing sanitizers everywhere, and so they have a pretty okay under control, I would say.
Okay.
But sometimes you see it's like they're like a little bit in panic mode. So
Yep.
they're like coming up with all kinds of stupid rules. For example, once a policeman stopped us on the street while driving in your own car, and you don't wear a mask, which is kind of who I'm going to infect if I'm going to be infectious in my own car. It's like, but
Yes. I got it. Okay, there are some silly rules about, like in the UK, you can go to a restaurant and not wear a mask, but you can't go into a shop.
mm-hmm.
You have to be wearing a mask, unless, of course, you say that you're exempt, but you can just exempt yourself. So
that's interesting.
yeah, just exempt yourself. Say, look, I have asthma, or I get very, very stressed out. I have a non-visible condition, therefore I can't wear a mask, and that's it. Anyway, okay, so that's that. And I just wanted to remind people that why Andreas is on audio only now is because the Wi-Fi from where he is isn't very, very strong. So it was lagging, and it's actually better now in terms of the audio quality as well. And what Cajutel are doing is they've raised the funds from the ICO, and they're using those funds to build a chain of high-speed Wi-Fi towers to bring fast broadband all over Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. That's the intention. Okay, so do you want to tell us what the state of play is and what's happening and what you're here to do?
Yeah. Well, the state is like this. Guinea-Bissau is still pending. It's like a never-ending story there. In Guinea, they have changed the laws for new types of licenses, and they're like in the final touches to do this. That's why I'm here to, work out all the details with the regulatory. They have. It's not like in Europe where anybody can be an ISP. They give a certain amount of licenses out as ISPs, and that's it. And you have to follow certain rules. For example, there's a license for the city of Conakry, where most of the businesses are, and then there's a license for the bigger cities, a bunch of them, and then there's a license for the whole rest of the country. And depending on what you're covering, you're paying more or less. So we're planning to go for like the bigger cities and the countryside, and leave the capital aside, because that's where you have a lot of competition. If you go to the countryside, there's nobody there, so you just grab all the market. At least that's the plan now. It can still change later. You never know. Then we have done a lot of planning on where we're going to put the towers, in which city and in which locations. We have done radio link simulations, how we can get there. In Guinea, we have fiber in the ground from the state, which we can use, which connects us to the main cities around the country. And then, of course, from those locations, you have to go to the smaller villages with microwave links and so on, if they don't sit on the fiber.
Okay. Is there enough demand in the rural areas of Guinea?
Yes, because the only thing they have there is like GSM. And if I say GSM, I say 2G, GPRS. So there's not really anything else there.
There's enough people using enough mobile phones that they would want to sign up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we're going to start with the city, which has like 100,000 people or so, and that's still good enough city if you think that like there's nobody really there offering anything usable, and there's not many of those cities which already have an ISP at all. I mean, there are some cities close to the capital where some ISPs have built something.
Right.
Like in Bokeh, where they have a lot of mining companies. There's one ISP who has built some infrastructure there. Then there's a few others, but there's many smaller cities inside the country which have absolutely nothing. And that's the area where we're going to spread first.
Okay.
So we're gonna go quite into the wilderness if you want. The streets are not very good to get there, so you have to plan like 100 kilometers is like 1 day of travel in some cases. So we have laid out a plan to visit all those sites where we can put towers up, which we have simulated now, and that's where we stand in Guinea. So
before we move on to another country, how many towers will it take roughly into?
I have not done the full plan for Guinea, but we have like planned something like 20 or 30 so far, which is like around one border. It's like a 400 kilometer strip, and then we go around and then we fill the gaps in the middle. It's, yeah. The thing is, there's if you start to fill the middle, then you have a lot of small villages.
Yeah. Okay. And then, how long would it take to build out the 20 towers, assuming the plans of, well, actually from now to when they're up and running?
Well, that's a question of money, of which is available at the end of the day. You can easily build like 3-4 towers a month if you have the team, and it's just a question of organizing, because you can build multiple towers at the same time in different locations. You just have to have the people ready.
Mm-hmm.
And teach them how to do this, and make it everything modular, like every tower is exactly the same, or almost all towers are the same. And then you can raise them very quickly. I mean, right. We have like settled on a tower which is like 35 meters tall, and put them onto like a location where you have a small hill or mountain next to a big town. Then you can easily cover this town, but in some cases it's very flat. So then you might have to have 2 or 3 towers inside the city to better cover the area.
Right.
It depends really a lot. There are some areas where you can put 1 tower and you have like everything around you in 200 kilometers. You can somehow cover, well, maybe not 200 kilometers, but like 50, 60 kilometers easily. And then you have places where you put 1 tower and then like after 10 kilometers, there's a big mountain, right, which is standing in the way, so you cannot do anything there. Yeah, so this is, in Guinea, we have done all the planning and we are well on the way. We expect the license to be issued in the next couple of weeks, I would say, but that depends what the regulatory does. And that does not only affect us, it affects every ISPs in the country, because they have canceled basically all licenses they had, and reissue all licenses new, because they have changed the laws and the rules and so on. So,
right. And have they made it easier?
It gets cheaper, because before it's like ISPs and mobile operators were like charged the same thing more or less, and it was costing a fortune. And now they make it easier for internet providers to start. Okay. Yes, so they have those plans, and yes, we have done that part.
Okay, so that's Guinea.
Yeah, and in Sierra Leone, Foday is there at the moment, our COO for Sierra Leone, and he's working with our employees there to finish the first tower. We have a tower up and running since a couple of months, which has like been in test service, which means we have an antenna up there where we can connect everybody. And now we have the container, which we have filled with equipment, has arrived like a week ago or a couple of days ago. Yeah, it's about a week ago now. Mm-hmm. Last Saturday. And there we have all the directional antennas, the sector antennas, so we can serve the customers much better with directional antennas, which give a much stronger signal to the user. Right. And so they are mounting this today or tomorrow. And then we can put this in service and switch the few customers we already have onto this new high-speed system, which means they're going to get a lot better quality and signal.
And what's
And
the
then,
improvement in terms of speed for them when the new tower?
I actually don't know yet. It depends, of course, of their subscription.
Yep.
But the one we have tested, the test case we had, the first one, we had like 10, 15 megabits. And that was with an antenna on the tower, which was shooting in all directions. And now we are shooting in like 30 degrees only, the same power, which means we're getting like 20 dB more power. It's like 100 times stronger signal. And that should get us like 20 kilometers far, even though we don't need 20 kilometers in the city. But in terms of signal strength, it's much stronger signal from the tower to the user. But the more important thing is there's a stronger signal being received from the user with a lot less noise. Because if you have a round antenna, then you pick up the user signal and you pick up everything around in 360 degrees as well. And in the city, you have a lot of noise. And when you have a directional antenna, then the signal from the end user is stronger and you get a lot less noise from anywhere else. So that's why we expect this to change by a big factor.
Yes.
I expect at least 100 megabits technically being possible for that user.
Okay.
So on.
And then when that goes up, what are you going to do to get more customers in Freetown?
Our sales person is already running around, getting us a lot of customers. And we're now planning the second tower. We have 3 or 4 positions where we can put that, where we have a pretty good signal into downtown of Freetown. Now we are more on the western side, and now we go to the northern side of the peninsula to cover that area. And that's already like a big part of the city of Freetown. And then, you know, we have like 6 other locations for the city of Freetown, if I remember correctly. For Sierra Leone, we have planned like the whole country. We have made a layout where how we can get to all those locations. And I think we have like 45 towers planned so far. And some of them are quite distant from each other. So we have distances of like 120 kilometers in some cases where we have to link them together, which is challenging, but possible with today's technology. But most are like 20 to 40 kilometers apart, which is much easier. And we should get at least a gigabit on all of those connections between the locations. And then there is a fiber in the ground, which we can also use. But it's costly. That's one thing. And secondly, it's not so reliable as we think, because the main city we wanted to cover first inside the country, they have a fiber there, but it's like broken at 3 points in the middle, and it's going to take them a year until they have fixed it. So we're going to go there with microwaves, our own infrastructure, and then we get all the customers. And then when the fiber comes back, we can just increase the capacity. And from that location, then we actually can also connect into Guinea. So we would have a backup over Guinea if Sierra Leone goes down, or if Guinea goes down, we can use Sierra Leone sea cable to get to the internet. So we have a backup scenario for both countries as well.
Wow, that's looking very promising. It's been a long wait, hasn't it, Andreas?
Yeah.
A long wait. And I know that's because of the licensing issues in Guinea-Bissau. Still
yeah, this is a crazy story, and I could tell like long stories about this, but it's not worth for this. It's just a pain.
We've had those. You save them for your grandchildren, right? We're looking at it now. Okay,
but it's still on the roadmap to add there. But we go from the reverse. We start by Sierra Leone and move up instead of starting from Bissau and move down. So. At the end, we're going to do it, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we are. We are now checking out the new office where we're going to put this. We have a few options. We have a car there. We have tools there. We have cables there. We have antennas there. We have transceivers. We have lots of stuff there. So it's moving fast now.
Great. And then this How long before Freetown is fully covered, and how long before these 45 towers that you're putting up will be covered roughly?
Well, to put up the 45 towers, that's going to take at least a year, I would say, maybe 2 years even. Freetown, I mean, it depends what you call cover. It's like if you want to say you want to cover London, well, do you only call the city of London or the suburb and so on? You know, it's a never-ending story somehow. But the core areas where the business is happening, this is like 3-4 towers. So this is being covered pretty quickly. I mean, we have the western part now with 1 tower. We have to add another tower a little bit south of it to cover those areas which this one doesn't cover. Then we have to add one on, what's it called? I can't remember the name. On the hill where we can cover the north area, so Aberdeen and a little bit east of it. And then if you go further inland, then down to Waterloo, which is like where the peninsula hits like the main land, then we have to add another 2-3 towers. And then there's a valley, which is in the mountains, which is also important to cover because there's lots of people living there. That's also something we're planning, and we have one strategic location where we will have to build a very big tower, because from those high mountains we can shoot very far into the country, which is important to get the right location. That took us quite a while to find those. Everybody is like on Leicester Peak, which is one of the biggest peaks in Freetown. And we could go there as well, but I think we're going a little bit further away, maybe 2, 3, 4 kilometers away from it. We have found another place where we can build our own tower, because if you are on Leicester Peak, everybody's there, so you're also picking up everybody else's noise.
Right.
And when we are a little bit further on the other side, we cover the valley a little bit better, and we have less noise, but we still have a very good reach on the long distance.
Very good. Okay.
So,
and I just want to
originally I had like 20, 30 towers in Freetown, and it took a lot of juggling around to get it to like 6, 7 well-placed ones to actually being able to cover everything.
Yeah, which will be cheaper and quicker.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's a cost base, and but it's also a moving target. It's like, okay, the ideal place is here, and then you cannot agree with the building owner, then you have to put some other place. So it's like, things are always changing.
Yes, yes, I got it. And I noticed on the website, one of the things it says is long-term investment. And I want to say this for anybody like myself who holds Cajutel tokens. Once the towers are up and running, and the company's actually making a profit in terms of its revenue, then some of that profit will be shared out with the token holders. And that this is a long-term play, because it takes time to build infrastructure projects like this. So I just want to remind everybody about that. There's going to be no Lambos tomorrow, but this will be a slowly growing long-term play. Okay, and I just wondered, how many customers do you have roughly now, and what's your plans and projections? And is there some way you can keep letting the community know where how many customers you've got in terms of target and actual, and then also, perhaps a rough map of where the towers are located or going to be located and when they're up? Any plans to do anything like that?
I haven't thought about that, but we can do this. I mean, we only have like a bunch of customers right now, but we're adding new ones every day. I mean, it's a question of having the equipment now up, being able to connect them. But we have all kinds of customers. I mean, we have some big corporations which are signing up with us, which have like 20 offices around the country.
Wow.
And that's the interesting thing. Those are long-term customers, and they take big bandwidth. So those are the first customers that we are getting. Because they sometimes just need better quality, or they don't have coverage in the area, and so they sometimes use multiple internet providers. So we're going after those customers because they're going to pay our bill first and pay our bandwidth, because the bandwidth is costing us quite a bit of money since a couple of months.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to let us know, Andreas?
Yeah, well, my travel plans have now changed again, like half an hour ago. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up in Freetown this time, because I have a very, very important meeting, which I cannot tell you about right now, but here in Guinea, there's also some other projects in telecommunications, which we have been working on, which come along very well. And
are they going to be part of the Cajutel projects or something?
They are not being part of the Cajutel project, but they have the side effect that it makes a lot of things a lot easier. For example, we have to build towers for other projects, so we can do the same at the same time.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then, so how long are you going to be staying in Africa for this time round?
If I only knew. I actually plan to go back in a week, but we'll see.
Very good.
I have a ticket for the first, so that's so far. But I have already changed this ticket. Even to get here, I couldn't get the visa in time, so I had to move the flight for 3 days and so on and so on.
Yes.
But this is like, if you fly to Africa, never take a non-changeable ticket.
Yes. Yes, I can understand.
That's my advice.
Yeah, especially during these times as well. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I found some interesting things. Like, okay, I have a fully changeable ticket, and to Conakry, and I was trying to fly back from Conakry, and then I realized I cannot get them land to Freetown. So I said, well, what happens if I just fly to Freetown directly? And that would have meaning canceling my ticket and buying a new ticket. And canceling my ticket means I'm getting back the airport fees, and everything I pay for the flight is basically lost.
Wow.
So
that'll be your next mission then, to transform the air travel to Western.
I think it's just like the air travel industry has a lot of financial problems that they just put the screws on there because it's already difficult for them to survive.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I have a ticket now to get from Freetown to Conakry, from Conakry further. So that actually worked out for me at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Andreas, you want to let people know, or anything you think might be useful for them to know? Token holder in particular?
No, nothing which comes to my mind. Yeah, well, there's one big extension of the project potentially with the C cable option, but that will change a lot of things. So.
And is that something confirmed? Something you can talk more about?
It's something we're looking into, because the thing is, those countries, they have one C cable, which is the ACE cable, and it's the one and only. Yeah. And we were thinking of, it would be good to add another one. So we're looking around who is building cables where we could add into, and there's a couple of options we could take, which cost a lot of money. Then we would have to raise more money, which is a potential extension, but that would actually add like an additional business, because then you can sell the capacity to all of the internet providers in the country, because everybody want to have redundancy.
Yeah. Okay, well, keep us posted on that. All right. Anything else?
No, that's about it for now.
All right. Well, listen, Andreas, thank you so much. And anybody who's watching, if you want to find out more about this, go join the Telegram group, ask questions there. Also, check out the website. I'll have all the links in the description below. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Andreas signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.